So, in today's video, we are going to deal with functions, mostly linear ones, but first, if I say a function, a lot of people think about something like y equals to 2x plus 3 and, you know, like lines going up and down and sideways in the coordinate plane and everything. But let's not think about this one for a minute. Let's just go for something easier. So my first question is, what is a function? Well, basically it's like a magic box. You have a let's draw a magic box. This is our magic box. Let's say that let's just assume that this is a box. I'm not really good at drawing, but this is a magic box, and you have numbers there. You have 1, 2, 3, and you throw each number into the magic box, and you get something else out. 2, 4, and 6. So you throw in 1, you get 2. You throw in 2, you get 4. You throw in 3, you get 6. So what did we do here? We basically multiplied each number by 2. You might have realized that already. And basically that's a great metaphor for a function. That's what functions do anyways. So we basically have with functions a input, the number that we throw into the magic box. We call our inputs the domain. The domain is called basically just the numbers that we could throw into the magic box. And then we have an output. And we call the set of numbers here the range. And basically the thing that the function does, it gets us from the domain to the range. It takes an input and gets an output. It's that simple, basically. So that's a function. Now let's play a game. I will tell you an input, and you have to realize basically the function that what we did by the output. So let's say I have 2, and we get 5. Well, that's a pretty bad 5 to draw. And we get 5. We throw in 4. We get out, let's say 9. We throw in 10. We get out 21. So what's the rule here? Well, you might have already realized that we multiply by 2 and then we add 1. Because 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 2 times 10 is 20 plus 1 is 21. So this is basically a function. It gets us from an input to an output, from the domain to the range. That's what a function does. You put in something and you get out something. We will say that y, which will be our output, is equal to 2 times x, which is our input. So remember, this is our input and this is our output. Now, I basically could tell you any x and you can get y. I'm confident that you will be able to do that. So let's do something a bit different. We most often and draw these functions in a coordinate plane. So this will be our coordinate plane for the day, and I can mark it. This is 1, this is 2. So I can just write numbers in there. So let's assume that this little one line is worth 1, and it goes up and here. Now I'm not a master of drawing, but it's not about drawing. So if you have ever seen a coordinate plane, you probably know that it has 2 axes. We have a y-axis and we have an x-axis, and these are very, very important. Now you see we have a y here and we have an x here. So how would we actually graph this function? How could you draw a line that basically represents this function that we just wrote here. Let's try it. So we have an x number that we put in. We will have, let's say 1. We put in 1. This is how you do it. You put in 1 and then you basically apply the rule that's given here. So you multiply by 2, let's say. And that's how you get your y, your output, which will be equal to 2 times 1 is 2. And as you might see, you will get a point here. So let's call this point A. Point A. How do you get the coordinates of point A? Well, we always write the x coordinate first. What was the x coordinate? What was our input? It was 1. Because we say that, yeah, it was the number that we looked at is 1. Now what was our output? It was 2. And now we have a point. So if we had 1, here's 1, here we were, and we got 2 right here. So what is where will our a point be? Where is our a point? Here, right here. So we have one point right here, which is amazing. Now let's look at another number. Let's go with 2. We put in 2. Here's 2. What do we do with 2? We multiply it by 2. And what do we get out? We get out 2 times 2, which is 4. So again, we will have a point. Let's call this point B. So here was point, let's draw it right here, point A. And we have point B. And point B will have a x coordinate of 2 and a y coordinate of 4. Same as here. This is like basically our red one, and this is our blue one. So that's how we get that's how we get the points. We put in 1, we get out 2. Now we put in 2. What do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4. So the point will be the point called 2, 4, which is right here. Now let's get our line tool and let's connect these 2 points. Like this. And obviously you have to go the other way around, like this, because if you take a look at it, if you say that x will be -1, and the line isn't perfect, but if you say that x is -1, if we multiply that by 2, we get -2. So basically I'm just gonna erase this for a minute. Yeah, like that one. Yeah, so I can just switch back to my black pen and connect them again. Because this is -1. This was our input, and we got -2. Here's -2. Yeah, we will say that that's -2, so -1 and -2. And yeah, that's our output. Let's connect them with a line. Like something like this. It's not gonna be a perfect drawing because I'm pretty bad at it, but yeah, this is basically how you graph a function. Now let's try another example. Let's erase our board. We will have something trickier this time. We will have y equals to 2x plus 1. And we have like a straight line here and another axis here. And we will just draw it right now. Super. Now, if we would like to graph this function, how would we do it? Well, we can say that 2x plus 1 equals to y. We can start, if we look at the first x value, I usually like to start with 0, because 0, which will be our first x, right, which is right here in the middle of the coordinate plane, multiplied by anything is 0, plus 1, that's here. So yeah, you could say that 2 multiplied by 0 plus 1 equals to 1. So that's how we get our x value. Here's the x value, and here's our input. So if we put in 0, we get out 1. But if we put in 1, well, if we put in 1, let's say 1 multiplied by, or we can like even draw it this way, 2 multiplied by 1. So it's not that confusing, and we will add 1. Equals to 2 times 1, that's 2 plus 1 is 3. Once again, there we go. We put in 1, and we get out 3. So we put in 1 and we get out 3, that will be right here. And now, basically, we could say that 2 points define a line in geometry and in every other thing. So we can connect these. And of course it goes down as well. And I mean, it's not, I mean, this usually is a straight line, and my drawing is just not that great, so you know, it's not the greatest, but I hope you get the point by now. This is our y and this is our x-axis. Great, so we are done with this one. Let's see one more example, and this will be a bit more difficult. So we have once again a coordinate plane. And we will have our rule y equals to minus 3x. And let's go with minus right now. 1. There we go. This is an interesting one for sure. And let's see. So we have our y-axis and we have our x-axis. Let's start with the most obvious input. If we have 0, 0 minus 3 times 0 is, still 0. So, this is our input. This is our number from the x-axis. And this will be equal to, sorry, that's too big. So we have, once again, kind of like misdrew it. And we have 0, minus 1, I forgot that one last time, and we have minus 3 times 0 is still 0, and minus 1, that's minus 1. So we immediately have 1 point. And our second point, let's say we have 1. I usually try to go for small numbers. Well, minus 3 times 1 is minus 3, minus 1, that's minus 4. So if we put in 1, we get out 1, 2, 3, minus 4. Yeah, right there. So this x is the input. The first time it was 0, second time it was 1. Here's y, our output. It was minus 1 and minus 4. So we have the points 0, minus 1 and 1, minus 4. And we can just connect them. Oops, not with that one. And we have it like this. And it kind of looks like this, but I have another tool. So we have the points 0, minus 1 and 1, minus 4. This thing is called GeoGebra. So we have the points 0, minus 1 and 1, minus 4 right there. And we can just connect these right like this to form a function. There we go. And I think we figured out everything we need to know about functions for now. We also have more advanced things like reading a function from like the line, and where you have to give the rule of the function, like y equals to something, x plus or minus something. We also have things like a lot of other things to cover, but right now this will be enough for us. And the thing that the key realization here is that if there's a minus sign in front of the multiplier of x, then the function will go down, meaning the larger the x values are, the smaller the y values be. However, if there's a positive multiplier in front of the x, then the function will go up, meaning that the larger the x values are, the larger the y values are going to be.